¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. 2K23 drops patch 5 for season 5 of NBA 2K23 that's going to drop tomorrow on Friday. I want to cover all the major things that they have changed in this update and whether I agree with it, what I think is missing, all that kind of stuff. If you like that kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. Let's get it, man. This has patch notes. Here are some key changes for the upcoming game, and it is for the new generation of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S. We'll start off with the general changes. It addressed an issue that could cause outdated hairstyles to appear when editing a player in the Create roster menu. Believe it or not, this is something that I actually care about, because when I was doing like face updates or scans, it wouldn't show me the updated player hair. It would just show me like a random one that they generated, and I thought that was a new one when it really wasn't. So even though this is such a small thing, it is something that would technically relate to me, so I guess that's a good thing for me. A shoulder stripe honoring play-by-play announcer Bill Schonely has been added to the Portland Trail Blazers uniform, so they're basically going through all the uniforms to make sure that everything is correct. Like, for example, the Bill Russell 6 logo has been added to the city courts for the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have these 6 for, I think, every single NBA jersey and every single court, but for the city courts, I'm assuming they were able to do all of them. So that's the addition they decided to add through this update. You have corrected some visual issues with the city court floors for the Houston Rockets, Toronto Raptors, and classic court floors for the Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistons, and Golden State Warriors. Again, I think they just want to make sure everyone's courts looks as good as possible. It doesn't have any glitches or anything like that. Then they have following player general likeness updates and adjustments made. I'm going to be covering these in detail when I make a next video about it, but it's going to be Paolo Banchero gets brand new hair. Brandon Ingram gets dynamic hair update. For any of you who don't know what that is, it's essentially the hair gets like physics on it now. You also have Kai Jones with a dynamic hair update as well. And then historic players have also been updated. You have Craig Elo with a dynamic hair update. You have Howard Isley. You have Caldwell Jones. Harold Miner. Make sure to keep Karl Malone away from this guy. And Kenny Satterfield are all going to be updated. When it comes to gameplay, here are the things that were changed. It says adjust the shooting model to reduce the frequency of made low percentage shots and missed high percentage shots. Okay, this is actually a significantly big gameplay change that I want all of you to pay attention to for rec, for park, for just play now, all that kind of stuff. Again, it adjusted the frequency of low percentage shots. So I don't know what they mean. Does they mean that it's harder to green contested shots now? Are they trying to say that fadeaways, like fadeaway threes that are super broken in 2K, are those going to be going down in like percentages? They didn't really give me the details, so I'm going to have to find out tomorrow on what really they're changing, because if fadeaways are being reduced, that's going to make the game a little harder now, because people can contest so easily. It's, you know, rec is going to be a little more difficult now. And then missed high percentage shots. What did they mean by that? I don't like the idea of people having missed high percentage shots. Like a corner three, at the end of the day, you got to green it. It shouldn't, like, 2K shouldn't hold your hand for an open shot. So I don't know about them fixing easy shots. The easy shots were already easy. I don't know about that, 2K. Now, maybe it's going to be something like people missing like easy layups. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know. But if it's anything like helping people make wide open shots, it's going to bother me, because you got to green it at the end of the day. If you're not greening, you shouldn't make the shot. That's just how I feel. The next thing is fix an issue with transition take foul logic that caused intentional fouls to not be called when attempted during passing animations. I have not seen this issue personally. I haven't played enough rec to see that, but basically intentional fouls weren't being called when attempted passing animations were happening. I don't know. Whenever I try to do an intentional foul, it almost always happens. So to me, this is kind of like a whatever issue. It says when player locked to a player inbounding the ball, you will now be able to properly call a timeout. Apparently, you couldn't call timeouts when you were the player locked onto like the person inbounding the ball. I didn't know this was a thing. I never saw this as an issue, but if it was truly an issue, I'm glad that 2K has updated it, because it's always good that they fix any kind of problem. We have much more. Let's focus on MyCAREER and the city. Improvements to performance and stability have been made to enhance the overall experience in the city. That can mean from frame drops to graphics to anything. It says resolved an issue that could cause incorrect VC amounts to be rewarded in rec and pro-am games. Well, this is a big one. This is essentially 2K admitting that they have been hoeing us on VC, that sometimes we're not getting the VC that we're supposed to be getting, and they're basically saying that we were robbing you. I don't like that. I don't like that it's taken 5 seasons to correct this issue, but if it is truly an issue, I'm glad it's finally fixed. It says the phone and 2K TV menus cannot be accessed while got next spots. Well, there's two things to this. First, technically you already could do that. All you have to do is pause the game, and if you pause the game, you can definitely go to your phone and do like .next stuff. But I will say, it is crazy that this was removed in the first place, and it's taken 5 seasons to add it back. The fact that I couldn't change my badges, the fact that I couldn't, go to my phone and invite friends while I was on the next spot is absolutely absurd that it took him this long to fix this. I mean, again, it wasn't necessarily a problem because you could just pause. But still, it really is dumb that it took him this long to do this. Fixed a rare issue that could prevent a playoff game from being started due to an active quest requirement. I never had this issue because I never even played that far into the MyCAREER story. It says squads will no longer be blocked by incoming invites when attempting to enter the elevators in the event center. This could be really, really annoying for people who are trying to grind event center stuff or trying to get like #1 in any of these kind of events. Like if your squad stuff or anything is not working, it's basically selling you from winning the events. So that's a big change that needed to be fixed because there's a lot of players that play events that look forward to events and they don't want to be hoed for anything. MyTEAM stuff. So it says preparations for the $250,000 MyTEAM Unlimited tournament elimination rounds on March 5th and 4th, as well as the finals on March 18th. In terms of esports, MyTEAM, this is like their Super Bowl, right? The unlimited tournament is everything, and so these guys really want to win something, and $250,000 is a lot. It's more than most esports make, so that's a lot of money. It's gonna hit off, so if you're interested in that, make sure to check it out. The color for diamond cards and assets has been updated to make it more visually disconnect from the Galaxy Opal cards. Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't play MyTEAM, so I don't know, but if that's an issue, I'm glad it's fixed. Additional minor updates to menus and modes throughout MyTEAM. That's a throwaway fix. Then we finally have the MyNBA and the W changes. So continued stability fixes and improvement have been made for MyNBA and MyNBA Online and the W, so frame stuff. Address an issue that could cause certain attributes for players in downloaded drafts classes to become randomized. This was a big issue for people, and let me tell you, I would work on a roster for like an entire day. I would set up an entire MyNBA thing for everything to be messed up because of the randomized attributes glitch. I'm glad that this is addressed because that was a big issue for me. And then it also says team logo and color options for tattoos in the W will not be correctly applied. So anybody that plays the W, I know there's not a lot, but anybody that does play it, this has now been fixed for you. Look, these are not major changes whatsoever, and the season rewards, I'm sure, are kind of whatever, but I'm glad that they're fixing the things that they think are major issues. In terms of the biggest problems that I see, I'm glad that the inbounding timeout thing is fixed. I'm glad that, fadeaways are probably going to be patched. That's a big one to me because, listen, man, this game, gameplay wise, is one of the better ones, but the only thing I thought was really, really dumb was fadeaways this year. And if that's removed, it makes people trying to score easy buckets, like BS buckets, a lot more difficult. Look, 2K is a fun basketball game that's supposed to be like, like an arcade game, but I don't want to see fadeaways going. People aren't shooting fadeaways from three-point line every single possession and making them. That's just not how basketball is. I'm glad that that's removed. I'm glad that like the skill gap for those, like if you're a really good player, you'll make some of them. Like that's good, right? But not anybody should be able to fade away with no badges or no takeover or anything like that. That's ridiculous, and that should have never been a thing in the first place. Now, those are all the changes that I see. What do you think 2K is missing for these changes? I would love to know your guys' opinion and talk about them in another video. If you like this kind of content when it comes to NBA 2K23 and their updates and their patches and all that kind of stuff, please join the pack and subscribe. I'm going to be making a video about the face scan changes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, guys, that's it. I will see you guys next time.